Okay, we're going to move back to the economy with a question that was submitted by one of our readers. Moody's Economy.com has ranked the Columbus MSA 12th in the nation for projected job growth over the next year. How would you work toward attracting more businesses to Columbus, and how would you aid the local economic development professionals in competing for some of the larger projects? And I think, Teresa, you're up.
Sure. Well, there's no doubt we're going to have a lot of job growth. I mean, just the catalyst coming from BRAC and now having one of the largest military bases in the world is necessarily going to make us desirable for defense contractors. But I know our chamber, and I sit as an ex officio member on the chamber board, is looking even beyond that. So we're not, you know, a one-trick pony, so to speak. And that is very important to have diversity in who we're bringing to this community. We have a lot of prospects on the horizon, actually, a lot of very exciting prospects. People are interested in Columbus, and certainly we need to go after them. One thing that's happening is now that the tax benefits have been greatly lessened from those who have moved offshore, the southern United States, particularly Georgia, is very attractive because of laws and traditional work experiences that for those manufacturing facilities. We can go after those, and I know the chamber is currently going after them. How the mayor can partner is being willing, ready, willing, and able to be very innovative. Think of transactions. My law background, of course, I practiced law for 16 years. And so in order to bring those things, many business disputes, very complex disputes, to a conclusion, I had to develop the skill of being able to get a transaction together that benefited people and be very creative and think outside the box. The Development Authority in our community, I think they have asked for an extra quarter-point mill. I think we could justify to the citizens, to the city council, that that is money very well spent because of the return on that investment. To me, when you're talking to the citizens and you talk about doing anything about reapportioning millage rate and how things are spent in the community, you need to be able to articulate what they're getting back for that. And our Development Authority is extraordinary. The things they have done and brought to this community result in those statistics you just read a moment ago. So I think that's money well spent, and particularly when, at least in the recent past, we haven't been getting as much help from the Economic Development Department of the state as we could, and I look forward to improving that relationship greatly in the future so we can really get some innovative help with the state of Georgia, as well as with private businesses here in the community do sometimes contribute their resources and assets to landing particular companies if they can help facilitate with their particular resources, like Total Systems, for instance, and can sometimes partner with new potential businesses coming to this community.
Sure. As your next mayor, like I said before, I'm the only person that has a military background. I've been both enlisted NCO and retired as a major in the Army. The garrison commander, Colonel McDonald, who was a student of mine when I was a commander of the Infantry Officer Advanced Course, I can work in concert with him. When Heckler & Koch was being brought here with, and looked like 400 jobs were going to come here, Peter Simon was my roommate at OCS, Officer Candidate School, and we lost that one by about $200,000. I talked to Becca Harden, and shame on us, we should have reached out, because he wasn't only asking for $500,000, when in regards we gave $7.5 million to NCR, and you know, we're starting out with 150 jobs and maybe looking at 850, but we need to bring in as many jobs as we possibly can. There's refurbishing of the Abrams tanks over in Anniston in Alabama, and I'd like to see if that couldn't be moved here, and it's basically a cannibalization, and cannibalization is basically taking 3 or 4 tanks and making one tank out of those 3 or 4, so if people don't know what cannibalization is. The other thing is that 9 mil, according to the city charter 7-102, I am the only mayoral candidate that keeps on beating this and beating this. What they don't understand is what you need to understand out there, ladies and gentlemen, is if you reduce it in accordance with the city charter down to 9 mills, then what you're going to do is you're going to entice more people to move here, businesses and also residents. And it's not going to be 30,000 like Zeph said. It's 30,000 trainees. We have 4,712 contractors. So we're looking at maybe several thousand people moving here in their homes. So the thing is that what you need to do, we still need to get those 3,000 homes. We need to sit there and compete with Russell County and Lee County. And this is the only avenue that I can think of in enticing them. Now, as far as manufacturing and businesses, I would say that we need to do tax abatements. And the Development Authority has done that good in the past, and I'll work in concert. Do they need another $250,000? I don't think so right at this moment. The Callaway Gardens, I was at the Peter Bowden's with the Columbus Convention, and at that time, I said, hey, look, up in Iowa where I come from, it's the grotto there at West Bend in Iowa, and it's basically a mecca. And this in itself could be duplicated and also entice elderly people when they go to the Callaway Gardens. So it's not just coming up with ideas in Columbus, Georgia, but it's also the surrounding and making it a regionalized situation in that respect there. But I believe that I am the only candidate here that can make sure that these defense contractors come here, because I can talk their talk. The rest of them don't have a clue. Like when Teresa was alluding the other night that a firing range sounded like a lawnmower, I'm sorry, but when you have 120 mics from the Armor School, guess what? They're much louder than a lawnmower. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, when we talk about 30,000, we're talking about the number of that will be brought here, whether they're transient, whether they will be permanent, or whether it's contractors along with their families. So let's just make sure that we get that correct. The second thing is I do have a clue. Matter of fact, I have a plan. And I have a vision, just like our city is a foundation of visionaries. We are a city of visionaries. We are a city of hopes and dreams. We are a city that has a lot of history, and we also have a brighter future. And I say that because if you look at Jim Blanchard, he was 28 years old when he became the president of CB&T. If you look at John Amos, he was 31 years of age when he stomped the streets of Steam Mill Road, knocking on doors, selling Aflac insurance for 50 cents a share. If you also look at W.C. Bradley, he was 31 years of age, I believe, when he began the Bradley Company, and all of these institutions headed by young talent. They not only serve the community, but they now serve the world. If you look at the founder, if I'm not mistaken, of this newspaper, he was 30 years of age when he began the Columbus Ledger-Enquirer. And these people began at a young age. I say that because not only has our nation, but also our city has found a resource in young talent. And in 2010, in less than a week and a half away, the city has Zeph Baker, at the age of 34, who will become mayor of the city of Columbus, Georgia. This is a wonderful opportunity for us here. And it's not a first, because if I'm not mistaken, you just reported that at the age of 34, we had what was termed the boy mayor. So when you talk about experience and what will the mayor do, well, I believe I've already done it. And that is, none of us have the experience of being mayor. But what I do have is a vision. And that has been a great resource to everybody who has served our community and grown us not just regionally, not just locally, but grown us to put us on a world map. What will I do? Well, the first thing is I will make sure that we partner. And we have relationships with the state delegation as well as our federal delegation to make sure that as the new governor who is coming in and those who are in the state brings jobs to Georgia, they're not just bringing it to the state of Georgia. They will be bringing it to a local community. I will make sure I market this city so that Columbus is at the top of the list when companies want to relocate to Georgia. The next thing is we need to make sure that we understand the growth of our existing companies. What about Pratt & Whitney? What about those companies that feed into them? What about where they are, and are they closing in Connecticut, of which I'm under the understanding? And are the companies that feed in them, are they closing down? And how can we capture the closing down of those businesses and make sure that we receive them here in Columbus, Georgia? And that's what I will do. I will have a vision that creates and brings opportunities to our city.
Well, certainly we've got 3 areas that are focusing heavily on economic development for our community. One is the Chamber of Commerce, second is Development Authority, and then to some degree through our Regional Commission and also the Valley Partnership. So these are the areas that are focusing on it. They need more resources, no question about that. They have $250,000, the Development Authority does, to be able to attract new business. We have developed, as you well know, a matrix in which we can look at a prospect and determine what kind of funding we can provide for them. Now, with more of those, we can actually be able to bring more of those to our community. What has already been said is absolutely true. We are receiving more interest in Columbus than in any recorded memory of people when it's coming, when there are people are looking at coming, businesses are looking at coming to Columbus. So we need to be able to put the package together that allows them to come. The second thing that needs to go along with that is those that complement current businesses that are already here. So both points, you need to grow the local businesses that are here, and then at the same time bring businesses that particularly complement things that are already in place. For example, we've already mentioned defense and security. That is a worldwide issue. Everybody wants to feel safe in their homes, in their cities, in their states, countries, and around the world. So the security industry and the battle labs and the high-tech simulations that we can draw to this community are great. And so that's one of the things we want to focus on. But there are others. For example, the agribusiness. We are an agricultural agribusiness hub. We've got 2 well-established, if not 3 well-established food industries in our community. We want to partner with them to draw other businesses, not only business for them, but also businesses that will complement them. Retirement. We are an ideal place for retirees to come. They bring their money, they put it in the bank, and then we're close enough to the ocean. They can go there on a short day's drive, or they can go to the mountains. There is a lot of variety, but they're just below the snow line. So again, that's another group that we need to look at in terms of bringing to our community. What can the mayor do? Mayor can do 3 things. 1, take the lead on the risk involved in bringing new business to town, especially if we put up money to make it possible for them to come. Along with the city council, that's the high-risk type of thing, but we have a record of creating $66 for every $1 we put in it. That's a good return on investment. The other thing that the mayor can do is actually travel to other places with the organizations. And of course, with a business background, human resource background, I'll be able to talk to and meet with and bring those people to our community. So I think those are the kind of things that the mayor can do.